Okay, folks, this is Conservative Life on Mars because we're living in strange times. I want to tap in here about this submersible. This is the most utterly stupid, ridiculous thing ever to take a safari water ride down to below where normal military submarines don't even go. But you're going to take this little buoy thing and go down there to go visit the Titanic. For those who don't know, the Titanic was discovered about 40 years ago, the wreckage. And there's two parts to that wreckage. And that wreckage is in international waters. Now, from what I read, there has to be some type of clearances. You have to get a bunch of permissions from this folks, that folks, because it's in maritime law and water and all that stuff. If you know about it, just put it in the bottom there for me. But these guys just slammed this thing together, made it look pretty, and started having people pay $250,000 to go take a trip to hell and back and hope that you get back. There have been numerous people that have come forward and said they thought the whole experience was risky and they chose not to do it. There have been people that have done this ride and said that every time you go down, there's something always went wrong, but somehow they've always made it back up. With this type of shoddy record, how come Oceangate and everybody around Oceangate was allowed to still continue to offer this water trip to hell and back? You would have been safer going to Disneyland and pretending that you were seeing the Titanic. Even when the Titanic was discovered, you had so many things there. So if something went wrong, they were prepared to hit on it. Boom, boom, boom. Those things evidently don't exist anymore. So it's just really ridiculous how a group of folks who were able to con folks into putting this contraption together and was able to take these sad souls down there, pleasure-seeking souls, adventure-seeking souls down there to see the Titanic. So these are the questions that really need to be asked. How come there wasn't any real safety variables on this thing? Airplanes have a black box. Airplanes have buoys when they go down. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But it gives people something to look for. Now you hear about, oh, there were pinging sounds. Those pinging sounds could come up from any animal that has a sonar. Those pinging sounds could happen. They're not coming from a radar or a black box. I mean, there are so many right now. There are people talking about so many failures in safety. And there's this one commentator with a British television show, Talk TV, who basically said, how can you hit the outside of a carbon fiber container? You're not going to hear anything. So the fact that they are diverting they're just totally diverting resources to look for some pinging sound instead of trying to triangulate where the thing went down. Maybe look for animal activity because the animals know that, hey, this is not right. Why is this darn thing here? Versus trying to appease people because they heard some knocking. It's just really ridiculous. And sadly, what this gentleman said basically is they probably had a leak, and as soon as they had a leak, the thing imploded, which means they were squeezed to death. Another good question to ask is, how come it took them 8 hours to ring the alarm on this? That's 8 hours of precious time of even if the capsule did implode, maybe someone stayed alive. I don't know. It's possibly not possible. But I know for sure at this late date, 4 days later, there's no survivors. There's really no survivors. Not saying that I don't want survivors, but let's look at this logically. Okay, this is Conservative Life on Mars. We're living in strange times. Tell me what you think about this stupid submersible adventure that we are all riding on right now. Let me know what you think will happen